So one of the first hires that you're going to want to make as an online coach is going to be a appointment setter. An appointment setter, also known as a messenger. Okay, so this is going to be somebody that's going to be on your social media accounts, booking sales calls for you every single day. And I'm going to show you in this training everything that you need to know to make this hire, what to pay them, how to train them, so you can get them up and running and have a source of calls being booked every single day without you having to spend so much time in the DMs. So before I jump into this, go ahead and smash the subscribe button. I create daily content just like this to help coaches grow and scale their online coaching businesses. All right, so for this, I'm gonna go on my computer. I've got a Google Doc that's already set up, and let's just jump in. So like I said, hiring an appointment setter is gonna be one of the first hires you make in your online coaching business. The hire I would make before an appointment setter is going to be a video editor. The reason for that is video editing just takes time, and you can get it outsourced overseas for 15 to 25 bucks a video, and it will buy back so much of your time. So that's typically the first hire I'll make. The second hire will be a appointment setter or messenger so that I can book more sales calls and I don't have to be the one in the DMs or via email, text, talking to leads. Okay. So the goal here, when you hire your first appointment setters, you want someone who can book 1 to 2 sales calls a day from social media. Okay, typically this is Instagram because Instagram is just the most common platform we use right now in the coaching space. It's very visual, especially if you're in the health and wellness space. Like, we like visual things, right? Whether it's fitness or if it's nutrition, whatever, we'd like to see, right? We're very visual beings, especially for health coaching. So that's where I install Messenger people first, and then you can also use it for opt-ins that you have collect text messages, emails, etc. So why we make this hire is it's not necessarily a very skilled task. Okay, you can typically create a process that involves around 5 questions, and then you can invite someone to a call. It's very simple. And this will get you back more time so that you can focus on coaching your clients, creating marketing content, and taking sales calls, which will really propel your business forward. So the next area we'll go into is, where do we find someone who can do this role? And I'll tell you, asking your friends, family, and posting on social media is the best place, because you can find somebody that's already indoctrinated with your brand, just meaning they already know who you are. And if you can find someone that already knows your voice and tone, it's going to be a lot easier than trying to train someone who doesn't know you at all. Okay. So my first recommendation is looking for friends, family, or posting in your existing network. I've got a lot of friends and even coaches that I know that have their moms who are their social media managers, AKA their appointment setter. Oftentimes we'll call an appointment setter the social media manager as like a nice position. I call mine secretary because she takes all of the inbound conversations, but really she's an appointment setter. So now the best people that we found long-term for this role are stay-at-home moms. They want something to do at home. They don't really have high income goals. They're not like trying to make $10,000 a month. They want something to do, and they also are very consistent. So that's who I currently have, and she's great. And for this, you can find them in Facebook groups, right? You can look for stay-at-home Facebook groups or mom Facebook groups and make a job posting inside of there, okay? And typically for the job posting, what I'll do is I'll talk, hey, I'm looking for someone to help me with my social media. They can manage my inbox. Here are some traits that I want of this position. Here's the job details. And in the job details, I'll talk about the number of hours I'm looking for support in, and I'll talk about general compensation. So I typically in job postings, I don't say what their hourly rate is going to be. I'll say, here's the earning potentials monthly. So let's say for an appointment setter, typically they're getting paid, which is down here, we'll talk about it in a second, $15 an hour plus $50 for every new client they sign, plus some bonuses. So typically this role is going to be 3 to 5K, 5K being on the higher end, but 3 to 4K is pretty standard once they're at full capacity. So you can market it as, earning potentials of up to 4K a month, working X number of hours per week. So mine's typically around 2,500 to 3K, just depending on the amount of volume of calls that they're booking. Okay. But that's how you can market it in those groups. Earning potentials up to 4K, or it could be up to 3K if you don't want someone full-time. But 3 to 4K is gonna be like a full-time rate, okay? Now, you can also find other people, like other messengers and appointment setters in Facebook groups that are just specifically for messengers and appointment setters. They'll have more experience, but the only negative part is that they'll typically ask for more money. And that's like their careers. Hey, I'm an appointment setter versus stay-at-home moms who just want to do something with their kids. These people are here to like make money. So they may have more experience, but you might end up paying more, or they may ask for a commission based. And to be honest, I would much rather have a stay-at-home mom. But if you're like, hey, I would love someone who's super hungry, who can book a bunch of calls, then you can do that. Okay. But that's typically where you find them. Again, social media, friends, family first. Second would be looking at Facebook groups. Okay, here's standard of what to pay them. So how I pay all my messengers, I start them off at $15 an hour, and then I give them a bonus for every new client that signs. I don't give a bonus for every call booked because I want to incentivize just good quality clients, right? If they're incentivized by the number of appointments they book, they're just going to book as many appointments as they need, but that's not necessarily going to help me. So my encouragement is to have them start at $15 an hour and give them a commission for every sale they make. If you're making a lot of sales, $50 is good. If you're making very little sales, like you have a very high ticket offer, it's above 10K or something like that, you might want to bonus them $100 to $200 a client. It's up to you and just knowing your margins. And after 90 days or so, I do like to bump it up from $15 to $18. You can go all the way up to $20. Just depending on, again, your margins and how well that person's doing in that role. My current one, I believe, is at $20 an hour, and she does have the $50 bonus for any new client she signs up. And one more way that I'll incentivize the messengers is I'll bonus them when they're well above their weekly KPIs. Okay, so we'll get into KPIs in a second here, but then again, that incentivizes them to go above and beyond. And if they do that, they'll get an extra $100, which is awesome because again, this is not a very high paying like role, but it's still really nice to be able to bonus somebody $100, right? So that's what we pay them. Now let's jump into KPIs. So the goal that I have set for my messenger and appointment setter is I would love for them to be booking a 0.5 calls per hour. So if they work 10 hours, they'd book 5 calls. If they work 20 hours, they book 10 calls. Typically, when someone's getting started, they're gonna be closer to 0.2 calls an hour. And as you start getting more leads from inbound Facebook ads, as well as the messenger becomes more experienced, you should see that number start to increase to 0.5 calls per hour, okay? If you're all organic and you're not using any ads and you're trying to have this messenger go out and start outbound cold DMs, you're going to be a lot lower. You're going to be probably 0.1, 0.2, and it's probably not going to be very consistent. Okay. Paid ads are going to be a very big game changer and will start to create more consistency because you'll be getting, 20 plus leads a day that the messenger then can go out and talk to. Okay. I've seen a lot of people who just want to try the cold outbound and just have a messenger do all cold outbound. And they also, the messenger kind of can get burnt out because they're like spending all this time. They're not getting results. They're not getting compensated, hitting bonuses. And they're kind of like, just doing more DMs. So I encourage you, if you're going to hire a messenger, also pair that with paid ads. Doesn't have to be expensive paid ads. You can use the Instagram follower funnel, which I have in past videos, or you can use a messenger funnel where you're delivering a free training or free resource in exchange to start a DM conversation that they can then take over. Okay. Those are very low budget ways to start Facebook ads, and you should be getting leads for anywhere from $2 to $5. So if you're spending $20 a day, that's at least 10 for if it's $2, if it's $5, that would be four DM conversations a day to start. But again, the more you can spend, the more conversations they'll have, the more calls they'll book. Okay, next question I often get is how many hours should they work? I start everybody at 20 hours a week. Now, the reason for that, let's just kind of look back at the KPIs I set before. If they're booking 0.2 calls an hour and they work 20 hours a week, that's gonna be 4 calls a week. That's less than a call a day, okay? If you're like, I just wanna have someone work 10 hours, you might get 2 calls a week, but you might not, to be honest. So I like starting with 20 hours a week. And then what I'll do is I really like 5 days of 4-hour shifts. Okay. I like this as opposed to splitting them up, like having 2 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon, because they can get into a flow and routine and get a lot done in that 4-hour period. I like that. I know some people that do split it up. What we do right now is we've got one messenger and she works a 5-hour shift. And then, so she works from 9 until 2. And then right around dinner time, like 6 to 7 p.m., she'll log back in and send out any more follow-up links. So that's like a 5-10 minute shift, but that at least gets us 2 touch points to people that we've already sent like booking links to, or someone who's further along in the DM conversation that's about to be booked. So that works really well for us. We're probably gonna get to the point where we need a second messenger, and we'll just have one person do a morning shift and one person do an afternoon shift / evening shift, and just keep that going. Okay, next thing, how do we track their work? So there's a few things that I've got in here. I'm gonna share with you each of them, and I'll actually leave a link in the description for the reporting sheet. This is what we use to track all of the active leads and conversations that are coming through. So inside of here, there's different tabs for every single month. And inside of there, there's different tabs for every single week. And then what the messenger does is at the end of the day, any person that was a link was sent to, they'll come in here and put their name down. And then they'll also put the date, they'll put the name, and they'll put the source. So right now, our 2 channels we're using messengers or appointment setters for is Instagram and paid ads. The paid ads are text messages. So they'll come in here, they'll put in the source, and then the following day, if the call was booked, they'll come in here and then they'll update call booked, yes or no. If it's blank, it means we're still waiting on it. And then closed is something that they'll also put in. So we're all communicating via Slack. If they see the sale comes through in Slack, where it's like a notification, they'll come in here and they'll update it and say, yes, sale was made. So they continue doing that week after week. And on the top of the sheet here is totals. So this pulls all the data that is inputted manually below, and it will give the total number of hours worked, the total number of calls booked, calls that came from ads, calls that came from Instagram. And it calculates the total booked calls per hour. And like I shared, the goal that we have is 0.5 calls per hour. Right now, this is this month, and we're a little bit under that. We're in the 0.3 to 0.43 range. So what does that mean? And I'm not worried about that right now. All that means is that either we need more leads coming in, or we just need to do a better job of conversations. But I'm not worried about where we're at there. Underneath that, total calls closed. So this just shares the amount of calls closed, if they came from Instagram or if they came from ads. The closing percentage, appointments canceled. We don't necessarily track appointments canceled right now. Calls per hour, no shows, etc. So you can track a lot. We don't use this sheet like to its fullest potential, to be honest, but we do it enough to know exactly what's happening in the DMs. Okay, so if you want the sheet, I will have this below. So that's the first thing that we do. And then I review that on a daily basis. The second thing we do is we use Time Station. It's a place that people can just log their time. So like start, clock in, clock out. And we have this integrated to Slack. So when someone signs in, a notification goes to Slack saying, Monica has signed in. Super simple. And then the last thing that we do is at the end of the day, we have a Google form that just allows the messenger to clock out and then also just give any subjective and objective reportings on that day so that we know how the shift went, right? So mine says how many booking links were sent today, how many bookings did you book, how many bookings you have, what was the quality of the inbox. Here, did you update the reporting tool, which is the tool that I shared here? If they say yes, great. If they say if no, here's the link so that they can just go ahead and copy and paste this into their browser and fill it out. Then I'll ask some subjective questions and just like how they felt, right? Because that affects their job performance, energy levels, how did they rate their job performance, how many hours of sleep did they get, did you take care of yourself, do you feel like you're getting the support you need, and then anything else you'd like to share. So just a really simple way to get some subjective data at the end of the shift. All right, so that's what we do there. That's how we track their performance. Now, the next thing is how do we train them? Okay, I will share that when I first thought I would get a messenger, I thought they would just get logged in and start crushing it. They need a good 90 days of training, okay? They need a good 90 days of training, and you need to have this space to train them. You can't just expect someone to come in your inbox and start booking 1 to 2 calls a day without proper training, okay? So the first thing you're gonna need is you're going to need a script, okay? You're gonna need to give them 5 to 10 questions on what they need to say in the DMs or via text message to book calls. Real quick, I'll show you mine. So for mine, I include a lot of things in here. This is a very robust one. This is what I give all my online coaching clients too, but I have different openers based off what the person did, okay? So if I have a new follower, here's one. If they liked a post or ad, I've got one. Here's another new follower one. Cool. If they have a mutual friend, here's one. I like giving options so that the messenger can try different ones, okay? If someone's engaging in their stories, in my stories, we have another one, right? And then there's a series of questions, 1, 2, 3, 4, looks like four here, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have about 9 questions. Some of it can be a lot shorter, and sometimes like in the conversation itself, we might skip some questions just based off how they go. And what information they tell us. Because we could say, hey, what's going on? Like, I see your coach, how long have you been coaching for? And they could share all the things that I need and be like, cool, let's hop on a call. So I've got another training in here that's on the conversational process in the DMs. I think it's like the training itself is how to send cold DMs. We'll probably link that somewhere around here. Team, link that. And that will kind of like walk you through a high level overview of how to actually create that script, okay? Because it's really more step and process focused than it is script. But you do want to give them questions and prompts to help them know what to say, when to say it, and how to say it like you. Okay, so you make a script, right? 5 to 6 questions, invite to call. As you get more conversations and you want to qualify better, you might add more. Number 2, you want to meet with them weekly. So for the first 90 days, meet with them every single week. On that call, have it be the same time every week. Do some role playing and give feedback on their conversations. So at the start, if they're not in your inbox yet, and you just want to role play with them for a week or 2, you can do that. And then once they're in, you're going to give feedback on the conversations that they had. So typically for this, what I'll ask is I'll be like, hey, can you bring back 5 conversations that you believe should have booked and they didn't for some reason? And they'll bring that conversation to us, and then we can on the call kind of brainstorm of different ways that we could have gotten that prospect to book a sales call with the team. Okay, so you'll do that. And during the first 90 days, I would encourage you to be logged in for part of their shift to oversee the conversations, to provide real-time feedback. Okay, at the first, it might seem a little bit like micromanagey in a way because you're logged in. They may say something, you might ping them and be like, hey, next time try this. But as long as you set the expectation of, hey, this is what's going to happen for the first 90 days, that should be totally fine. Then once you've done that enough times, you see that and they can trust that they're going to answer the way you want to answer, you can start to peel back and not do that at all. Okay. All right. Almost done. We've got shift work, and I'm going to answer some common questions that people have here. So the shift work, or like the shift workflow, they're going to log in every single day, and they're going to start with continuing conversations with the hottest leads. If there's anyone that you've already sent a link to, that's the first priority. Okay, that's the first priority. And I'll share with you in a second how we do this, because we use a software called Go High Level that makes this process so much easier. They can log in, they know exactly who they need to have conversations with and work their way backwards to new leads. But we're always going to start with the hottest people first. Hottest people first, right? Then we're going to answer all active conversations in the inbox. If I'm on Instagram, do I have any unreads? We're going to hit all those up first. Now, if there is no conversations in the inbox, you're going to have them start 10 to 20 conversations an hour. If there's none, if there are some, prioritize those, because if you can respond real time and book a sales call, do that rather than prioritizing new conversations. So that's a big lesson that I learned, because when I started, I was like, gotta start more, just gotta start more. And then when I did that, our inbox got so bloated and they weren't really like qualified people that want our support. So start 10, 20 conversations when the inbox is low. And most important, during this shift, you're gonna want them to keep the pipeline clean. So by the end of the day, they need to make sure that the pipeline is clean. And I'm gonna hop in here just in a second and show you what our pipeline looks like. But if you have a messy pipeline and you don't know who to contact and what the next step is, it's gonna be really challenging for you to be able to predict the new clients that are coming in the coming week, 2 weeks. Okay, so real quick, I'm gonna pull up my Go High Level, and this is a super powerful platform. This is what I install in all the businesses and coaches that we work with. We help them install our version of Go High Level so that it can keep their pipelines clean. So inside of here, I'm actually gonna show you 2 things. When we have a messenger coming in, we have 2 opportunity tabs or 2 pipelines inside of Go High Level. The first one is for our ads, okay? Because someone comes in, they watch a free training, and they're gonna get some text messages asking them, hey, did you get the training? How'd it go? All of that. When someone opts in, they're going to come into here. Okay. So let's jump in. Inside of here, we've got website leads. Right now, there's 378 website leads that have opted into the free training within probably the past couple weeks, right? And then from there, if they respond to the automated texts, they then go into the prospecting tab, okay? From here, our messenger now is going to respond to them, ask them the questions that we have, and invite them to a call, okay? So once they invite them to a call, they say yes, great, send a link. And then we move them over here. And once they book inside of Go High Level, it'll automatically push them over to our triage call or sales call based off the link that was sent to them. So how a messenger on their shift would come in here is they would go from link sent and they would work here. All right, we're gonna message Taylor. Okay, this person's name's Taylor. We're gonna go in here and we're gonna make sure Taylor saw the link, was able to access it, etc. Then we're gonna work with Kevin and Zach. Kevin and Zach, we're gonna follow up. Hey, Kevin or Zach, let me know if you wanna hop on that call. Would love to give you some pointers on how to get new coaching clients to set you up for 2024, okay? Then they're gonna come over here to prospecting and hit up people that they're already having active conversations with, okay? That's kind of the flow. We work from hottest to coldest, okay? So like I shared, there's 2 pipelines. That's pipeline 1. And then pipeline 2 is for Instagram. So Instagram, we have its own pipeline because there's a lot of messages in there and it needs its own pipeline. Okay. We tried having them all in there together and it just got too messy. So inside of here in High Level, I can also DM all of the prospects that I'm having conversations with on Instagram from this platform. So that's really, really valuable, right? So inside of here, same thing. New lead means they responded to us on Instagram. Then from there, if we think that they're a good fit, then we move them over to good luck. If they're close to booking, we're in the DM conversations, we've asked 3 or 4 calls, we'll move them over there. Call offered means, hey, you want to hop on a call with our team? And we've asked them that question, we're waiting on a response. Then booking link sent is they said, yes, I'd love to hop on a call, and we sent them the link. And if they say yes, we win, right? We win and we can move it. So inside of here, real quick, I'll just say you can drag and drop. So I could drag this contact name and move them to abandoned if they ghost us. If they book a call, I can push 1. If they say no, I can put them to lost. So a big part of a messenger's role is keeping this pipeline clean. If you guys don't have a pipeline like this and you guys are looking for more systems, automations, and the better ability to keep track of your leads, like you can schedule a call with us below. This is what we do. We help coaches install systems like this so they have a lot more predictability in their coaching business growth. Okay, so some common questions. Do I give my messenger or appointment setter access to my Facebook or Instagram? I do, okay? I do. The only time I would say no is if you're using something like Go High Level or you have so much inbound leads to where you don't have to start new conversations. If your messenger needs to start new conversations with people that are engaging in your posts and new followers, they need access to your account. If you already have so much coming in, let's say you're spending $100 to $200 a day on ads and you're getting 10 to 50 leads a day who are already DMing you a word, then you don't necessarily need them to log in. If you want to maximize it though, and you want them to be messaging people who do follow you, etc., which I'd recommend because it'll probably double the results that you're getting from your ads, then yeah, give them access. Some people will have them log in with a VPN or a proxy. Essentially what this is it allows that person to log into a central location. So there's VPNs in major states. So if your messenger is in Canada, you may not want them to log into your Instagram from Canada. I live in Austin, so I could set up a VPN in Dallas. So I could have that person who lives in Canada log into a VPN or a proxy that's in Dallas. And now they can log in using that proxy and it'll show up as if that messenger lives in Dallas. I don't do that, okay? You can do that if you're worried about your account or if you have a big team and you want your team to all be looking in the same location, you can set up a VPN or proxy. I don't do that. It's more friction. But again, if you want to really protect your account and all that stuff and you're worried about it, you can. I don't think it's needed, but you can. Question number 2 is, where do I find people to message? So there's a lot that can go in here, but first off, if you're not running ads, I would highly recommend running ads. It's going to be more effective. But if you're not, new followers is one. And then number 2 is people that are engaging on your posts. So people who are liking and commenting on your posts. Number 3, people who are viewing your stories. You can go on Instagram and see people who view your stories. You can have messaging conversations with them. And then 4th, you can do cold outbound. And cold outbound would be looking at other accounts that are similar to yours and starting conversations with people who are engaging in their content. Okay, that'll have the lowest response rate. But if you need more leads, more conversations, do it. But eventually, so I would highly suggest getting over to paid ads so you have more people coming to you versus you reaching out and doing cold DMs. All right, so that's what I got for you guys today. This was really good training. I had a lot of fun with this. So I hope you enjoyed this too. So if you guys are looking for more support on ways to build systems and automate your business growth, that's what we do at the Growth Accelerator. So any interest at all, go ahead and I'll have a link below to schedule a call with my team. We'll walk you through the entire offer of what we do, how we do it, to see if it's a good fit. And if it's not a good fit, we have lots of referral partners we can connect you guys with. So that's all I got for today. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.